We told you earlier this week about a petition aiming to turn Oklahoma into an open primary state. Right now, you can only vote in a party's primary. If you're registered with that party or an independent, you can vote in the Democratic primary.
Oklahoma City Mayor David Holt and Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum, both Republicans, are supporting the idea. And as News 4's Spencer Humphrey explains, that has some state Republican Party leaders suggesting Holt and Bynum need to leave the party.
I think the evidence bears it out, you naturally get a better outcome.
That was Oklahoma City Mayor David Holt on Flashpoint in September, advocating for something that has the state Republican Party more or less saying he's not one of us. The thing Holt was advocating for was a change to Oklahoma's system of closed partisan primary elections, which he argues cause candidates to pander to the extremes rather than appeal to the majority.
You're appealing, especially today, to a narrower and narrower slice of the electorate. I often say that neither in Oklahoma City or in the country are people actually all that polarized. Maybe the extremes are, 15% at both ends, but there's a 70% of people in the middle who just want to work together and get things done.
It's why this week Holt threw his support behind a ballot initiative proposal to change Oklahoma's primary system to something colloquially called a jungle primary. In a jungle primary, no longer would each party run its own primary ballot, only open to registered party members. Instead, candidates from every party would all appear together on one single ballot with their party affiliation listed by their name. Each voter would vote for just one of them. Then, the top two vote-getters, regardless of their party, would face off in the general election. Holt says, save for listing a candidate's party next to their name, that's the same system Oklahoma City and Tulsa use for their mayoral primaries.
And people always look at Oklahoma City and Tulsa and they say, for whatever successes or failures you have, gosh, it sure seems like you're electing mayors that unify people, that seem competent, that are well-liked across the political spectrum.
This week, Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum and Oklahoma Labor Commissioner Leslie Osborne, who, like Holt, are Republicans, also endorsed the initiative. That led Oklahoma State Republican Party Chair Nathan Dahm to send this email to Republican Party members, likening allowing non-Republicans to vote in the Republican primary to allowing an atheist to vote for who becomes the pastor of a church. Dahm urged Republicans to tell Holt, Bynum, and Osborne to switch their affiliation to the Democratic Party.
I do think that that in general this group is pushing this for that reason, though, that they want to move the party to the left by doing this, at least moderate it.
State Republican Party Executive Director Stan Stevens argues if Holt, Bynum, Osborne, or anyone else they support can't win in a closed primary, that's their own problem, not the election system's.
If you get in a Republican primary and you can't beat the other candidate running, then it's just not resonating with the voters.
I don't know why the Republicans would be so opposed because they're so strong right now.
In fact, UCO political science professor Brett Sharp points out there are many deep red places in Oklahoma where independents and Democrats don't even bother running candidates at all, essentially meaning Republican primary voters are the only ones who get to decide who represents everyone.
I don't think that's healthy.
While it may feel like an uphill battle in this state right now for any candidate left of extremely far right to stand a chance in a Republican primary, he says that's actually a relatively new phenomenon.
People forget that we were a one-party state for, most of that 20th century, and that one party was Democrats.
And he says, while not as easy, there could be another path for those in the middle to get past the primary round without changing a thing.
You start at the local level, start in school boards, start in city councils, get your folks elected, build a party base there, and then move up. That's, I think, one of the key ingredients to the Republican success.
Now, we reached out to Holt, Bynum, and Osborne for comment on the Republican Party more or less pushing to excommunicate them. Holt's office referred us back to his comments on Flashpoint. Bynum's office said no comment. Osborne did not respond.